The mine is cold, not just the air, but the feeling, the kind of cold that settles in the chest and whispers doubt. A young man stands ankle-deep in mud and broken stone. His hands are blistered, his boots leak. Around him, other men swing picks with a tired, rhythmic thud. His name is Edwin Barnes. He is not rich, he is not powerful, he is not lucky, but he is possessed by a single thought, not hope, not wishing, a decision. I will work with Thomas Edison, not for him, with him. He has no plan, no connections, no money, just a thought so fixed, so unyielding, it refuses to leave. That thought will nearly destroy him, and then it will change everything. This isn't just a story from a book. It's a blueprint for a certain kind of action, a certain kind of life. It's an adventure. Barnes sells everything he doesn't absolutely need. He boards a freight train, a so-called blind baggage car, arriving dirty, underdressed, and completely uninvited at Thomas Edison's sprawling laboratory complex in West Orange, New Jersey. Secretaries, gatekeepers, try to turn him away. He's just another dreamer, another face in the crowd. But Barnes waits. Hours tick by. He doesn't fidget. He doesn't plead. He just stands there, still, calm, his eyes burning with an unshakable conviction. Finally, the great Thomas Edison himself notices this peculiar, immovable figure standing in his outer office. "What do you want?" Edison asks, probably a little annoyed. Barnes doesn't beg for a job. He doesn't ask for a handout. He looks the world's greatest inventor in the eye and states his purpose. "I've come to work with you," Edison laughs. He's heard this 1,000 times. Every ambitious young man in America wants to hitch their wagon to his star. But something about Barnes is different. It's not arrogance, it's certainty. The kid is immovable. So Edison, intrigued, gives him a job, a bad job, sweeping floors, running errands, low pay, no promise of advancement, no future. It was a test, a way to get rid of him. Barnes accepts instantly, without hesitation. Months pass, then years. Barnes isn't just sweeping floors. He's working harder than required. He's thinking longer than expected. He watches everything. He listens to every conversation. He studies the men who work directly with Edison, learning how they think, how they solve problems. He learns the rhythm of invention, the pulse of the laboratory. He is in the right place, waiting for his moment, never losing sight of the decision he made back in that cold, muddy mine. He is observing, absorbing, and preparing. Then one day, an opportunity appears. But it looks like a disaster. Edison has invented a new office machine, the Edison dictating machine. It's brilliant, but his salesmen hate it. They can't sell it. They don't believe in it. It's a commercial failure, gathering dust in a storeroom. At a meeting where everyone is complaining, where the energy is focused on failure, Barnes steps forward. Into the silence, he makes a simple declaration. "I can sell it." Everyone in the room doubts him. The seasoned salesmen scoff. Who is this kid? The glorified janitor? Edison himself hesitates. He looks at this young man who, for years, has done menial work without a single complaint, who has always been watching, always been present. Edison remembers the look in his eyes from that first day. He sees it again, that same unshakable certainty. Edison nods. Barnes takes the machine and sells it, and then sells another and another. He succeeds beyond anyone's wildest expectations, creating a slogan that becomes famous, made by Edison and installed by Barnes. He doesn't just sell the machine. He builds a massive distribution network for it. And in that moment of explosive success, the decision made years earlier, in the mud and cold, collapses time. The waiting, the watching, the sweeping of floors, it all converges into this single, powerful outcome. Barnes didn't get lucky. He simply refused to retreat from a thought once he had claimed it as his own. He became a partner with Thomas Edison, just as he had decided he would. He had thought himself into a partnership with the great inventor. If you're feeling that quiet pressure in your chest right now, that sense that this story is about more than just a historical figure, that it's speaking to something inside of you, then do me a favor, like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this is the point in the story where you must listen hard, lean in, and start changing. Now, the story widens. Napoleon Hill, in his book Think and Grow Rich, doesn't just give us a hero, he shows us the contrast. We meet others, brilliant, capable, ambitious people who fail, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack talent, but because they retreat. We see a man who invents something powerful, but then quits the moment he's mocked or criticized. The fear of ridicule is stronger than his belief in his own creation. We see another who gets incredibly close to a major breakthrough, but then listens to the whispers of fear from friends and family, telling him to be realistic, to play it safe. He hesitates, and his opportunity vanishes. We see a third who works incredibly hard, jumping from one project to the next, but never fully commits to a single, definite aim. He's busy, but he's not effective. His energy is scattered, his potential wasted. Their enemy is invisible. It's silent. It doesn't announce itself. Napoleon Hill gives it a name: indecision. Indecision is the deadliest of foes because it's a saboteur that lives inside your own mind. It drifts through your thoughts like a fog. It always sounds reasonable. It wears caution and prudence like a clever disguise. Maybe I should wait for a better time. What if I fail? I need more information before I can start. It's the voice of what if that paralyzes the power of I will. Then we meet Darby. Darby and his uncle get gold fever and head west to start digging. They find a vein of shining ore and stake their claim. Things look great. They pull some ore from the mine and ship it to a smelter. The returns prove they have one of the richest mines in Colorado. They just need to dig deeper. They raise money from friends and family and buy more machinery. They drill down, following the vein, and then it happens. The vein of gold disappears. They've hit the end of the rainbow. They keep drilling, desperate, but find nothing, just rock. Feeling defeated, they quit. They sell all their expensive machinery to a local junkman for a few $100s and take the train back home, broke and embarrassed. The junkman, however, isn't an expert miner, but he's smart. He brings in a mining engineer to look at the mine before he starts tearing everything apart. The engineer inspects the site and gives his verdict. Darby and his uncle had failed because they were unfamiliar with fault lines. His calculations showed the original vein was still there, waiting. It was just 3 feet from where Darby had stopped drilling. The junkman took the engineer's advice, started drilling, and 3 feet later hit the main gold ore vein. He went on to take millions of dollars from that mine because he knew enough to seek expert counsel before giving up. Now, here's the most important part of the story. Darby later became a massive success, but not in mining. He went into the insurance business and became one of a tiny handful of people who sold over $1 million in life insurance annually. Why? What was his secret? He would tell the story of the mine over and over. He learned the most expensive lesson of his life from that experience. Quitting has a voice that sounds like logic. Failure is only temporary, unless you accept it as permanent. He built his entire career on the principle of never stopping 3 feet from gold. When a potential client told him no, he would see himself back at that mine, standing just 3 feet from a fortune, and he would not quit. Hill uses these stories to show us that the starting point of all achievement is desire, but it's the finishing point that matters. And that requires a decision, a definite, unshakable decision. This brings us to one of the most powerful and, frankly, strangest concepts in the book. Hill introduces us to what he calls the invisible counsel. This isn't mystical. It's a purely mental exercise. Hill himself decided he wanted to develop certain character traits: persistence, faith, decisiveness. So, every night before sleep, he would hold an imaginary meeting in his mind. He would imagine a council table, and seated around it were the 9 men whose lives and work he most admired: Abraham Lincoln, Napoleon Bonaparte, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and others. In his mind, he would act as the chairman of this council. He would address each member, asking them for the knowledge and the character traits he wished to gain from them. He'd ask Lincoln for his profound sense of justice, Ford for his persistence, Edison for his spirit of faith and experimentation. He was, in essence, borrowing confidence before he had fully earned it himself. He was programming his subconscious mind with the qualities he most desired by associating with them, even if only in his imagination. He was building the person he wanted to become from the inside out. Edwin Barnes did the same thing, though perhaps less formally. By placing himself in Edison's orbit, he was constantly in the presence of the mindset he wanted to adopt. He absorbed it, he modeled it, and this is the moment in our story where it stops being about them, about Barnes, Darby, and Hill, and it starts being about you. Your mind becomes the workshop, your thoughts become the tools. With this understanding, fear starts to lose its authority. It's no longer an absolute command. It's just a data point, a sensation to be acknowledged and then bypassed. Your desire sharpens. It turns from a vague wish into a controlled obsession, not a frantic, desperate obsession, but a calm, focused, powerful one. The story shows us something radical. Riches, in any form, financial, spiritual, personal, begin the moment a decision becomes irreversible in your own mind. The universe doesn't respond to your wishes. It responds to your conviction. If you have stayed with this video this far, you already know this isn't just entertainment anymore. This is work. This is a mental shift. So, do 2 things right now. First, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Second, leave a review or a comment. And finally, share this episode, because someone in your life, a friend, a family member, a colleague, is standing one decision away from building real momentum, and they might need to hear this story tonight. Years later, we see Edwin Barnes. He's successful, respected, and calm. He is a multimillionaire, a partner of the great Thomas Edison. But the story doesn't end with money. It never does. It ends with mastery. Mastery over his own mind, his own focus, and his own destiny. The money was just a byproduct of the person he decided to become. Napoleon Hill leaves us with a final, powerful image. A person standing at the edge of action. Behind them, fear is pulling, whispering all the reasons to stay put, to be safe, to wait. In front of them, a clear, definite desire is pulling them forward, toward the unknown, toward the goal. Most people hesitate in that space. They live their entire lives in that gap between fear and desire, paralyzed by indecision. A few, like Barnes, step decisively forward. Those few don't just grow rich, they grow certain. And certainty is an asset that compounds faster than money ever will. Certainty in your purpose, certainty in your ability to persist, certainty that you will not quit 3 feet from gold. If this story sparked a sense of clarity for you, if it shifted something quiet but permanent inside of you, then like this video, subscribe, and stay with this channel. More stories are coming. Stories about the power of decisions that reshape lives. Because the real secret of Think and Grow Rich was never about thinking about money. It was about using your thoughts to decide who you are going to become, and then having the burning desire and unwavering persistence to refuse to quit on that decision. Thanks for watching.